I recently showed making a modification to my fixture plate right here, and I wanted to be able to utilize it for this job right here, and of course any other job that comes up. So we'll be able to chuck it in our 3-jaw chuck right there. So we've got our rotary table. I centered the rotary table, then I put my 3-jaw chuck on there, and I centered that, got it tightened down. So we've got our fixture plate in the center. Our spindle is lined up in the center right here. All right. So we're tight there, and we're just gonna set this plate up there on the fixture plate, and I've got a couple of little hold downs that we're going to use. We'll put a couple little hold downs. I've got these guys right here that we'll use to hold down each side right there. So we'll get that set up, and I'm also going to kind of center it there. So I forgot my scale. Centered on the bowl holes that way. All right, so we got 2.5 there, and we got 2.5 there. All right, and that's just scaled. That's going to be close enough right there. All right, and then we're going to use the quarter-inch holes. I've got these little studs. These are just made out of 1/4-inch all thread. Got different lengths cut up, and then my little kit. Got the heel pad, and then this is the actual clamp right there. It's got a screw that adjusts the heel of it, and that's what sits in this little brass washer right there. Protects the surface from the screw getting into the surface there. Also got some springs that you could put in there also that helps keep these things kicked up if you want to use them that way. All right, and I'll take my square butt. We're just going to square it up that way, and that'll make sure that this line come in our y-axis, that will cut it nice and square to the edge of the aluminum plate there. Okay, that should be good and square there. That should be all it needs, really. I'm plenty of torque on that. I'm going to do some very light milling on that. Okay, I think we're ready to start milling. I'm going to use that's a 3/16 diameter 2-flute end mill. I'm going to run this thing as fast as it'll go, 2,720 RPM. And we're only going to be going about 16 feet, probably about 60,000 feet. And I'm going to go about halfway. We're just going to set a touch off right there. Okay, I'm going to set a 0 on the knee. That's good. Let's just do half of it. Let's go about 30 thou. And I want to get my cut established and figure out what I'm doing here. Okay. And I'm going to use, I've already got the readout zeroed out in our center, but I'll use incremental mode, and I'm just going to keep up with I'm going to have a 0 location on one side, and then I'll have another location down here that I know that I can go to every time and hit this end down there. And then, so we're going to be rotating the the rotary table 27 degrees for each side of that. Pretty close right there. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm on incremental. I'm going to zero out that. And let's come down here to the other side. Not quite exactly in the middle here, but let's make it in the middle. So exactly 1 inch. About 1 inch and a few thou. Alright. Back to our zero there. I'm just watching for it to come right up to that line. We're at a 1/2 inch. Let's go the other way. Okay, let's go ahead and knock out that other side there. I'm just watching the cutter come up to the line and just stopping right before it. Alright, so let's go ahead and index it around 27 degrees. Got our zero and our zero there. Got to unlock it first. 10, 20, we go 27. So there's 5, 6, 7. I can still see my line a little, which is what I want, because I just kind of want to sneak up on it, but leave just a little bit for cleanup. We're at 221 on that side. Alright, I'm going to come back to the middle a little bit, and let's rotate it the other way. Zero, 10, 20, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring it up another 30 thousandths to our 16th depth. That's looking pretty good. I like the mill marks in there, and I think the depth's going to be good too. That's actually more than twice what the depth is on the original cast piece that we're trying to copy there. So I do want to point out, you know, our corner radius is right there. That was one of the big deals about making an inset triangle, was having some corner radiuses in there to deal with. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take this end mill out of here, and I'm going to drop it into we're going to put a 16th end mill, and that'll go in there, and I'm going to be able to relieve these corners, those three corners, a little bit more, and make it so that you don't have such quite a radius in there. Okay, so instead of a 90 thousandths radius, we're going to have you know, what, a 31 32 thousandths radius there in the corners. And then when you're standing back from a distance, it's you won't be able to notice it probably. So I'm just happy with the way that looks, so we're going to leave that. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and raise that up out of there, and I'll go ahead and change this out, and let me show you that other cutter. So here's the end mill that we're going to use now. That's a 1/16. This is an old do-all mill, end mill. So we'll get in there and just freehand these three corners just a little bit more, and tighten them up and make a lot smaller radius there. Okay. Well, I think I'm finished with the milling op. So we've gone our 16th depth, and we've blended in the corners with our 16th end mill. I think it looks pretty good myself. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the cutter up out of here. I zeroed that out just in case I want to go back in there. But the best I can see, especially up close, really zoomed in on it, it looks pretty good. So you're standing away from that, you can't hardly tell that that's a 30 thousandths radius in those corners right there. So it looks like a triangle to me. So we're going to call that one done right there. I don't know why I need to, but let's just go on back to our 0 here on our rotary table. And I think that's going to be it. All right, we're taking it out. There we go. I think this thing's going to turn out real nice once it's all done and they get their powder coating on it the way they want, make it look like a gold play button. I think the next step, what we'll do is go ahead and we're going to break all this down. I'm going to get this off the mill, get it clean. We're going to put my milling vise back on here, and we're going to go ahead and take care of our 4 tapped holes in the back of it and get those done, because the next op, we're going to be surfacing the top. We're going to go ahead and surface both sides just for the heck of it, just because we can. We're going to go to the shaper. We're going to use our shear tool to do that, but yeah, we'll do our drill and tapping, shear cut top and bottom, and then after that we're going to use a radius tool in the shaper also. I want to try a radius tool and cut all these radiuses on the corners versus standard milling operation with a corner round. All right. This is such a shallow hole. I only went 3/8 deep. I'm just going to do this by hand. We're going to use a spiral flute to get the thread started, and I'll go back in there with a 4-flute bottoming tap to make sure that we have threads that go all the way down to the bottom. And going to use some tap magic here for lubrication. That's it. Bottom.